Welcome back to Pop Dissected. In the first part of this two-part series, we're going to be reviewing Kesha's fourth studio record, High Road, which released January 31st of 2020. In this first part, we're going to be reviewing and analyzing the first 9 tracks off the record, where in the second part, we'll be reviewing the final 6 tracks off the record, as well as discussing why High Road did not live up to the successes comparative to Rainbow, Animal, and even Warrior. So the second part of this review and analysis will additionally be a what went wrong with type of video. For context, High Road follows up Kesha's third studio record, Rainbow, which released in 2017. Kesha has stated that the process of creating High Road is the most fun she's had ever in creating a record. Kesha also discussed how with Rainbow, she had to discuss and address several serious things on the record, and with High Road, she's been able to return back to a more carefree and fun-loving persona. And that's not to say Rainbow wasn't fun, but what we understand is Rainbow was an emotional return for Kesha. It was this inspiring return to the industry that showcased Kesha's vulnerability, lyricism, and vocal talent. It also very much introduced a new sound for Kesha, which was very much rooted in rock and country. We also see some of this influence being carried over into High Road. One thing to note about High Road is that it very much cultivates this balance of the Kesha we know from Rainbow, but also the Kesha we grew up with during Animal. We have a record that Kesha set out to be genuine, honest, and truthful. She also stated she had a bit of difficulty trying to find that direction following the Rainbow era. Rainbow was about Kesha reclaiming her narrative, and she did. So where does one go from that? Kesha even stated she felt like she couldn't make something celebratory, incidentally feeling she had to stay in this reflective, introspective, vulnerable nature of Rainbow. But with that, we're now going to dive into the first 9 tracks off of High Road. We're going to be reviewing the songs as a whole, and I'll be giving my personal opinions on them. This goes without saying, but if you disagree with me or someone else in the comments, please be sure to keep it respectful and we can have a nice discussion regarding the record. In the second part, concluding my review, I'll give a brief summation on what this record means for Kesha as an artist, how it relates to our artistic journey, and what we can expect is in store for Kesha in the future. But before we dive in, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for more future content on all your favorite pop stars. The record opens up with Tonight, which was released as the record's 4th single on January 28th of 2020. In discussing the track, Kesha stated that she wanted the record to open up with Tonight, as a way to let her fans know she's back and just ready to have an awesome time. She further elaborates the intent of starting off the song seemingly as a ballad, for her to go off into her quote, shit talking. This song is essentially just about Kesha singing about going out, partying, getting drunk, and celebrating the night with her friends. Now, when the song seemingly opened up as a ballad, I would assume it followed a similar pattern to Raising Hell, which by the point of the record's release had been out already. I thought we'd have that nice piano intro before jumping into another gospel bouncing type of track. Oh, how wrong I was about that. The post-chorus coming in following the opening chorus completely shifted my opinion of the song. Honestly, I thought, oh my god, what is this? Now, I'll be honest, I really love the verses on this track. They're an ode to the Kesha we get to see on tracks such as Sleazy, for example. It's fun. However, I wish the second chorus, following the first verse, had the production we see in the third and final chorus. The voices chanting the second chorus are just not appealing to listen to whatsoever. It just sounds sloppy. While I like the post-chorus being repeated after the final chorus, I think it works stronger in that portion of the track, rather than in the beginning as well as here. I get it, this track is a dupe, the false piano opening before we get into what the track really is. It's clever, but I don't think this is just the best way to open up the record. It's not a bad track by any means, I just don't think it's how the record should have begun. Once we get to it, I'll tell you which track would have been much better suited to be the opener for the record and why. The second track we have is My Own Dance, released as the second single off the record on November 21st, 2019. The track was one of the first written for this record. Kesha stated how much joy she had writing an upbeat pop song and had previously felt like she couldn't write something of that nature, following the seriousness presented across the Rainbow record. Kesha stated that My Own Dance was her mission statement for the record, and I think that's pretty clear. In the track, Kesha sings about, well, doing her own dance, not anyone else's. Some lyrics allude to criticisms and comments made about her throughout her career, and Kesha rejects the idea of being forced back into a shell of who she once was. The message presented in this track is hands down wonderful. Kesha is giving all the people who are trying to put her in a box the middle finger. What strikes me as odd though is this song is about Kesha defying the image people want to cast onto her, yet isn't that what she's doing with tracks like Tonight? I thought about this and I have to say no, because the way Kesha is presenting herself and how she's making her music is on her own terms. It's her own dance to make these decisions, no one else's. This is most definitely one of my favorite tracks on the record. The drums in the track are what do it for me. This track perfectly exemplifies this balance of an Animal era Kesha and a Rainbow era Kesha, with its content and production respectively. Third on the record is the lead single, Raising Hell, released October 24th of 2019. Now, I've made a video in regards to this track already, so you can check it out here if you'd like. In summation, this track is just about Kesha wanting to have fun and encouraging others to live their best life while they're here on Earth. In a way, it's a lighter version of Tonight, and you could even say it's the opposite side of the coin. In comparing these two tracks though, Raising Hell is more effective, I think. The production is more cohesive, despite those dreadful horns in the chorus. Much like My Own Dance, Raising Hell seamlessly blends a sound familiar from Rainbow with an attitude of the 2011 Kesha we know. However, I think this is the track on the record that does it the best. It's just a song of pure enjoyment, pure fun, and is so energetic. But do I think it was worthy of being the lead now that we have the entire record out? Well, High Road, the fourth track on the record, is arguably for me the best track on the record. And I think it encapsulates everything about who Kesha is, her journey this era, personally and professionally. First off, Kesha stated there's an irony to this track. The title suggests, which Kesha has confirmed, she likes to rise above the people who bring her down and just laugh about it. Yet in the track, she very much is addressing all those people who are bringing down and is not necessarily taking the high road. It's a very cute and clever piece of irony injected in the track, which makes me love it even more. Kesha additionally added, after praying in the Rainbow era, she believed people would expect her to maintain a pious image and take the literal high road. She intentionally went against that grain to let us know, though she can channel that nature of empathy and forgiveness seen in praying, she very much will not hesitate to call out the ones who hound her day and night. This should have been the record's opener and the lead, without a doubt. I think this encapsulates everything the record is about, and Kesha's own intent with the record as well. From boasting about her own IQ, her #1 tracks, and mocking critiques of herself, I mean, this song is excellent. I don't think you can name one bad thing about it. Shadow is the record's 5th track, and it's another standout on the record. Now, even though I may disagree with certain aspects of Tonight, the first 5 tracks on the record thus far present a cohesiveness, but ironically enough, I think there's a problem in that. But I'll get more on that in the second part of my review. Shadow gives us some incredible vocals by Kesha. I mean, listen to the damn song, folks. In the track, Kesha sings about letting go of negativity, and negativity from other people, how she can do without the haters and people who bring her down, and focus on her own happiness. One of my favorite lines in this track is this one. And it's true. Who are you to call someone out on what they're struggling with or going through and then act morally superior when all of us on this earth are dealing with something? I mean, I don't claim moral superiority over someone because they have unresolved trauma or are working through something on their own. That's screwed up, y'all. My favorite part of this track is definitely the bridge. Kesha is saying, hey, go ahead and stay pissed at what I do, and if you don't like me, well, case in point. Honey is the 6th track on the record, and I think this is where the record starts to delineate from its cohesion. Now, this is a good thing, but also bring some problems. And as I said, more of that on the second part of this review. In this track, Kesha addresses the dissolution of a close friendship and tells of this girl who betrayed her trust. Production-wise, it's a nice, slow, R&B soul-driven track. We're very much channeling a similar energy of High Road, poking fun and in a way making a mockery, but in Honey, it's very direct. Now, I have to say, while I can appreciate the very blunt story presented in this track, it falls flat for me everywhere except the chorus. The ad-libs, the shouts, the spoken verses, I don't find enjoyable whatsoever. Now, that doesn't mean that this isn't a fun song. It most definitely is. But I can confidently say, this record could have been much better without this track's inclusion. Personally, I just think it's too brash and doesn't cleverly address the topic of a backstabbing, man-stealing friend. I think this track could have been stronger if it just wasn't so aggressive and there was more singing. The irony in this is I love Kesha's own Backstabber, which is a similar track in terms of its story, but that one has much more energetic production and the quips are a lot more clever and fun. Seventh, we have Cowboy Blues, and this was a welcome surprise for me upon listening to the record. In this track, Kesha beautifully sings about reflecting over the one that got away, a potential love of her life and how her own rejection of this person has led her to have regrets. It's a deep cut. It has a simple, folksy production akin to the Rainbow record. Both pre-choruses relay a tinge of comedy as Kesha laments this person she's missing. It's somber but has a comedic element to it. And that's something Kesha does very well, especially in this record, injecting comedy and fun into her tracks. And it works so well in a track that's rather sad, but it doesn't take away from it one bit. Eighth, we have Resentment, the third single off the record, released December 12th of 2019. In this heartbreaking song, Kesha mourns a dissipating relationship. She goes on to describe how the emotion of resentment itself is so much more complex than anger or hate. In the track, she goes on detailing this toxic relationship and how her partner could truly love her and treat her right if they actually cared. This track, personally, it's a hard listen for me, but it's stunning. Not only are we given this deep vulnerability from Kesha, but I think this track's message is so universal. Being in a relationship with someone you love so much and wanting it to work out and be the best it can be, and knowing it can be good, but also knowing that person doesn't love you and doesn't respect you. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And this is hands down one of the best tracks on the record and showcases Kesha's vocals and songwriting in an excellent manner. Now, to conclude this video, we're going to look at the ninth track, Little Bit of Love, which is similar to Tonight and Raising Hell, but also acts as an opposite side of the coin to Resentment. It's upbeat, poppy, and fun. And for the subject matter, Kesha has never made a bad relationship so fun to sing about. In the track, Kesha sings about a partner she's losing right before her eyes, and it's just asking them to show her love and prove they care about her. I think the transition from resentment to Little Bit of Love is great. We're given two perspectives on what may be the same relationship. We hear the sadness of what this relationship is doing to Kesha, but here we listen to a more hopeful take on it. Kesha's vocals in this are also exceptional. Another great track on the record. In the next part of this video, we're going to get into the final 5 tracks on this record. And those final 5 tracks is where the record thematically, sonically, and lyrically is kind of all over the place. Additionally, we will also take a look at the bonus track, Summer, and the Japanese exclusive track, Big Bad Wolf. Furthermore, we'll discuss the record as a whole, what it means for Kesha, and how this record could have been improved. Additionally, we'll also talk about why this record seemingly underperformed compared to her previous eras, as well as what Kesha can do going forward in her career. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for more future content on all your favorite pop stars.